was just the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Like, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Somebody hit somebody with a pie. Do something.
Giovanni yelling we're out of time as we go off the air.
Giovanni yelling a lot of things tonight.
And welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody. I really thought I could get that last bite in before we started, but I was wrong. I'm James Giasanti. It is Wednesday night, and this is the Mark It Down podcast. You know what that means. We are here to cover AEW Dynamite. I am flabbergasted by this show because it's one of those things that it could have easily gone wrong, but because of how good the content was, everything worked. This wasn't a show that had a lot of matches. This wasn't a show that had a lot of different segments. They focused on certain segments, and they had a few matches that went long, and they were good. They were fun matches to watch. Maybe the whole episode wasn't the type of show that really is going to be remembered down the line for like this explosive moment or that explosive moment. But this was just such a quality episode across the board, just a continued step in the right direction for AEW and for Dynamite. Now, again, I'm coming off the high of All In. I know it. I'm a little biased. It's not really fair. I thought it was an excellent show, and I'm just so happy that AEW is in a good place. Now, granted, I'm a little conflicted about the continued storyline with Hangman and the Death Riders and Jon Moxley, but we're going to get into that. We're going to get into the pacing. We're going to get into the longevity of it. But as we started the night tonight, Hangman, our new world champion, our AEW world champion, our cowboy, comes marching into the building and is about to be interviewed by Renee Paquette about surviving, her words, by the way, which I wasn't thrilled with, Miss Bias, Miss I'm married to the former world champion. Anyway, I digress. As he's getting ready to talk about his surviving the Texas Death Match and continuing the fight against the Death Riders after what they did on Collision, which if you didn't watch, the Death Riders took out Colt Cabana in Chicago for no reason. Colt Cabana hasn't done anything to anybody except for that one guy, maybe. And he's not even in the company anymore. Whatever. I don't know anything. I'm just a guy. I'm just a Mark who just loves Colt Cabana and thinks he continues to get the short end of the stick. But regardless of that, let's go to the comments real quick. What up, Maria? Welcome to the chat. Thank you for being here tonight. I hope you enjoyed the show. We're just getting started, so you came in at the right time. But as he's explaining why he needs to continue the fight after what happened with Colt and the Death Rider, is BX saying Colt did nothing wrong. I strongly agree. He is interrupted by, MJF. I've loved every single interaction between these two guys. Every time these guys get even just a few seconds together or a couple of minutes together, it's always great. MJF did his normal bit of trying to he started, but Hangman really stopped him, of trying to get in Hangman's head about going after the world title. And he gestures to the contract that he won for the guaranteed title shot, which interesting developments on that contract that we'll talk about later as the show progresses. But Hangman stops him and he says he knows what he's trying to do and he won't let it happen. He knows that Max is trying to goad him into either giving him a title match or to just disrespecting him into the title match. And Hangman won't fall for it. He says if Max wants a title match, he either has to use that contract where he has to earn a title match. And then Hangman walks away and goes to deal with his business. I adored this. It was so refreshing. Maria saying Colt Cabana, always wrong place, wrong time. Chicago should be the right place for this guy, but you're right. And Maria saying this is a great story. I agree. It's the perfect kind of slow burn story. I don't know how I feel that there's a very strong likelihood that MJF is going to be the guy to take the title off Hangman. I'm not opposed to it, but I feel like there are certain things we need to get through first before we really get there. But again, a whole lot of story happened tonight, even though there weren't that many diverse storylines at play. But Hangman then leaves and immediately goes to the ring to face Death Rider number 4, maybe even number 5, Wheeler Yuta. As Hangman is making his way to the ring, he is ambushed by Yuta, who jumped through the crowd, attacking him from behind, getting the early advantage. But it was all for naught, as Hangman, if we're going to be really honest here, made quick work of Yuta. I'm actually a little intrigued because there was a mix-up later in the evening where they played, where they had in the bottom left corner the little hype image saying that Hangman and Yuta was still to come. And just as quickly as it went up, it got brought down. So I have to wonder if it was maybe initially supposed to happen later than it happened in the show. Maybe it was originally intended to be somewhere in the middle of the show. I'm not entirely sure. But Hangman made quick work of Yuta, pinning him after a buckshot lariat. But that wasn't it. That wasn't where it ended. Hangman then proceeds to go grab a chain, presumably the same chain that the Death Riders used to hang Colt Cabana in Chicago on Saturday. Yeah, that's a rough sentence to say. But after grabbing the chain, he bloodies up Yuta, just absolutely bloodies Wheeler up. And as it looks like he might want to do more, he stops himself. Yuta is cowering. Yuta is panicked. And commentary makes multiple notes of the fact that the Death Riders weren't there to save him. That if they were going to come, they would have come a lot earlier than they did. Or at all, I should say, because they never did show up. Yuta looked terrified. Yuta looked confused that Hangman let up. And I think Hangman showed this was so important for Hangman because it showed that this is not the guy he was even a few months ago, where he couldn't control himself. He couldn't control his anger. He couldn't control his vengeance. The Hangman from a few months ago would have absolutely destroyed Yuta. But Hangman got the point across, he got the win, and he knew business needed to be dealt with later and elsewhere. Really great story, really great way to continue this. Again, I don't know how I feel about Hangman continuing to feud with the Death Riders. I think on some level it was inevitable, but if they're going to do it, this is a good way of doing it. Going to the comments real quick. Maria going back to MJF saying MJF loses a regular title match, then MJF cashes in after MJF ambushes him when the match ends. I would actually love that. I think that would be a great way of. It's not something that they've ever done with this Money in the Bank type concept. I don't think WWE has ever done it. I don't think I'm not sure that TNA has ever done it with the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. I would love to see AEW use that. I think that'd be really cool. BX saying that he had the same idea. I think we're all on board with this. Maria, pick up the pen, start writing down some storylines for them. I think AEW, I think any wrestling company would be happy to have you. Maria saying Yuta got what he deserved, and Maria speculating that Yuta is leaving the Death Riders. Let's see how things progress. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. Put a pin in that for now, Maria. Danny asking, where is Rev? Rev right now is dealing with a medical issue, and we wish him a speedy recovery. You know, as he says, Rev, as BX is saying, Rev fell into some quicksand. You know, like that's rough on the body. It's coarse, it's grainy, it gets everywhere. But anyway, BX also saying he thinks Hangman versus the Death Riders probably wraps up for the most part next week. I am inclined to agree with you, and we're going to talk about that. But yeah, great way to start the show. Quick, fast-paced. I'm just going to continue with the thread of Hangman throughout the night. But as we get later on, I guess just sticking with the Death Riders, Jon Moxley cuts a promo later on backstage with Marina Shafir, where he discusses how he's not done. What in his words, he lost the match. So what? You think he's going to be done? He's going to cry over it and bitch over it and be done with it? No. He knows it never ends. It never stops. This ride continues. And he wonders, does Hangman know that? He knows that the Hangman who came in for Texas Death was able to beat him. The Hangman that came into Dallas for that match and won the AEW World title was able to do it. But is that Hangman going to be able to continue doing it? Does Hangman have it in him to continue to do what needs to be done to be world champion? That's the question Mox leaves us with as he walks away from the camera. Marina said something at the end before she looks all tough and does something aggressive. I didn't quite hear it, so I apologize. If one of you guys did, let me know. But I understand. He's the bad guy. He's the bad guy champion who thinks he's right. So, of course, just because he lost, he's not going to want to be done. You could argue whether or not he should be done, but wanting to be done is a very different matter altogether. So, I get it. Going back to the comments real quick. Maria, I agree. Rev, prayers up. Daniel saying, don't call me Danny. I don't even know him like that. You're right, Dan. Dan, I'm sorry. That was wrong of me, Dan. My bad, Dan. Quicksand. Maria, I'm never one to question my sources. If BX says it, I'm inclined to agree. I have to. I have no reason not to believe him. Dan saying, great Mox by promo here. I agree. I know so many people were tired of Mox. So many people are like need a break from Mox because of the title run. Mox accomplished everything he set out to do. He wanted to create a fire in AEW again, not just with the backstage talent, not just with the stars, not just with production. He wanted to create a fire within the fans, and he did that. We were ravenous for somebody to take that title off of him. And the perfect storm was created where Hangman became that guy in Texas at All In to take the title off of Jon Moxley, and a story that was so satisfying. Mox is great. I'm glad he's no longer champion, but I don't want him to go anywhere. Very happy Mox is continuing to kill it. But moving on, we get to the end of the night where I'm going to deal with what led to this in a second, but our main event was Mark Briscoe versus Claudio Castagnoli. After being fired up by MJF in a promo battle, which again I'm going to talk about a little bit later, Briscoe took on Claudio, and I guess what is trying to be a proving ground kind of situation where Mark's question is constantly having his value questioned. He's constantly having his worth questioned, and whether or not he belongs in this upper echelon of AEW. And no greater threat, no greater test than the Swiss Superman, Claudio Castagnoli. This was a very fun back and forth match where neither man was willing to back down. And the ending comes with Mark, I don't want to say stealing a win because it's not a steal, but Mark snatching a win from Claudio with a great roll-up, getting the 1-2-3, leaving the Death Rider shocked. As he's celebrating his win, he is attacked from behind by the rest of the Death Riders who weren't there for the matchup, but Marina and Mox attacked him with the steel chain that has been, I guess, the staple of their anger since All In. And as they're going at it, Hangman comes out. He confronts Moxley. They go face-to-face promo battle. and Hangman challenges him. He challenges him to a match for next week on Dynamite, one-on-one for the title. But he says that this time he's the champion and Mox is the challenger. So he has to go by Hangman's rules, meaning no one is allowed at ringside. Everyone is barred. Everyone, every Death Rider, everybody. And he says he knows he's already going to accept. So he'll see him next week, dumbass. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I should add that Hangman also addressed Mox's question from the promo earlier in the night, saying that he questions what type of Hangman is going to continue being champion. And he says that Mox already knows the answer to that. He already knows that he will and he can be that champion that does what he must to stay champion. Great back and forth, a great through line from the show from beginning to end, starting, ending with Hangman with a little bit of Mox and a little bit of Death Rider spread in between. Great way to have a central story to the show. Just excellent, excellent work between our champion who just appears so confident and the vet who isn't done. Great back and forth between these two guys, these two studs. Maria saying it's great news that it's next week. I agree. Very happy. I'm going to go back to what BX said earlier, that he thinks that this is going to wrap up next week for the most part. I'm inclined to agree. I'm not saying the Death Riders are wrapping up, nor do I think they should wrap up next week. But I do think Hangman versus the Death Riders will be done next week. Dan saying dope. Maria saying it's a trap. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it seems like Hangman is very boldly facing this challenge and he's trying to do it on his terms. We'll see what happens. We'll see if he's able to maintain that upper hand. Like Mirror Force. Either I'm too old or I'm too young. I don't understand the reference. Hangman is a changed man. He is. He is unburdened by guilt. Hangman is unburdened by vengeance. Hangman is unburdened by self-doubt. This is a confident champion. This is a confident protector. Hangman is understands he is the protector of AEW, whether that's the stars or the fans or the company itself. Hangman has decided he is going to be the protector of AEW, and I love this. I love this for our cowboy. BX saying this match allows Hangman to move on, and then the Death Riders will have to deal with Darby and his allies. I don't know who Darby has. We can only take Sting out of mothballs so many times, but we'll see. He didn't say he was still in quicksand, Dan. He said that he dealt with quicksand. He could be dealing with the aftermath of the quicksand. We don't really know. That's not my business. That's not my business. But I don't know if we know what the lore is. Is BX Rev? I don't know. We don't know. But we're going to go back to the front of the show, right back to the top. And we're going to go backstage as the forever ROH World Champion, not Women's Champion. I love that, by the way, because absolutely is that world title more valuable than the men's world title. But the forever ROH World Champion, Athena, and her minion, her number one minion, Billie Starkz, are backstage talking about tonight and Billie's upcoming match with Toni Storm. They talk about, they do all the hype, and I'm just loving it. What does AEW stand for? Athena Elite Wrestling. Great bit, great line, great soundbite. Billie's talking about how it's her job to beat Toni Storm tonight, but Athena corrects her, saying, no. You don't have to beat her tonight. You have to take her out. That's a very interesting thing that'll come into play later, and we talk about what was a very good match later. But moving to a great match, a fantastic match, and quite possibly match of the night. We had FTR versus Jet Speed in an AEW World Tag Team Championship Eliminator Tournament match. That was a mouthful, but we were able to get through it together. impossible for me to go into how epic this match was and how cool this match was. I made a comment either a week or two ago. I think it was a week ago. Buddy, we're gonna miss you, man. Dan saying, you know how the internet calls tribalistic WWE fans fed-pilled? Well, he's bed-pilled. He's going to bed. Good night, buddy. Miss you. Wish you were here. But I said about wow, that's rude. That's rude. God damn it, he's in my head now. A week ago, I mentioned how Jet Speed is starting to feel more like a legitimate team. And I didn't necessarily mean that in the sense that I thought that they were a legitimate threat to the tag titles, but I finally view them as a team and not just two guys thrown together. And I feel that was reinforced tonight. I feel that was reestablished tonight. And don't get me wrong. On a team with Speedball, Mike Bailey, it's always going to be hard to feel like someone's equal because that's just how good Speedball is. I think that person could have a match of the night, a show stealer with just about anyone, no matter who they're teaming with, no matter who they're teaming against, or one-on-one or whatever. I think they're just capable of being the showstopper. But excellent back and forth matchup between these two, where if it felt at any point it was entirely possible that one team was going to beat the other. I was on the edge of my seat thinking, wow, this is the end of the match. Wow, this is the end of the match. Wow, this is the end of the match. And it was both teams giving me that. I should have known, as we saw at the ending of the match, coming with FTR getting the win, as I believe it was Dax getting the assist from Big Stoke, using his crutch, coming down, looking crippled after what Adam Copeland did to him last week. But using that crutch for the assist to give a little bit of leverage to Dax as he got the pin on, I believe it was Kevin Knight. Wow. Excellent match. Little bummed with the finish. Little bummed that something so good ended with like the cheap pin. But it's giving FTR the heat. It's keeping Jet Speed protected. And it makes us hate Big Stoke. But great way for this tournament to get started. We're going to learn the rest of the bracket on Saturday on Collision. Very much looking forward to seeing who the other teams are. But again, as I said, I should have known what the outcome was going to be. FTR is the team that are getting heated up right now. Jet Speed just had a title match at All In. It's too early for them to get a rematch coming out of a tournament. So this played exactly the way it needed to. BX saying, this match and tournament came out of nowhere, but the match absolutely delivered, and I'm excited to see the rest of the bracket. Same. I go back and forth on AEW's use of tournaments. On occasion, it can be a little much. On occasion, it can be a little overwhelming. But I like that all the tournaments are for something different. It's not just constant tournaments for the world title. It's not just constant tournaments for any particular thing. We get the Continental Classic, which is for what will now be the Unified Belt. We get the Owen, which is now for the AEW World Championship. We're getting a tag team tournament here. We've gotten women's tournaments before, too. So I like this. Personally, I like, if we're going to get this many tournaments, this is how to do it, in my opinion. BX saying, on a roster full of showstoppers, Speedball still stands out. First of all, excellent use of alliteration. Fantastic, sir. And I agree. I am just the happiest guy that my pick from TNA is just thriving in AEW right now. So happy. TNA who? Maria saying FTR versus the Hurt Syndicate. We will get there. Just give me a second. We will get there. But I think that's what we're building towards too. Maria saying Cope and Christian will cost the Hurt Syndicate the tag team champion. That is a very interesting thought. Not where I thought it was going to go, but very interesting. I have my own thoughts on that. We'll get there. Maria going against what I said. Too many tournaments. I don't think you're wrong, and I agree it is a lot. But as I said, at least they're spread out amongst different things. So we're seeing different people highlighted in these tournaments with different prizes. BX saying he would think if Cope and Christian got involved, they would cost FTR because of their hatred towards them. That might be the goal, but it might not be what they accomplish. Because I think it's inevitable that Cope and Christian somehow win the AEW tag team titles. And with what's going on in TNA, with a certain Team Extreme and a certain table team going at it one last time, I wouldn't be surprised if AEW goes into that nostalgia well as well. Nah, Maria, we knew what you were saying. Don't worry about it. You know it. What's up, pal? Yeah, this is live. It's just me, though. I know. I'm not your favorite, but I love you. So I hope you can love me, too. But moving on. The running story is quicksand. You know it. Many people are disappointed. Many people are worried. But I think he's with us in spirit. And if you listen really closely, you might be able to hear him. Maybe. I got nothing, but maybe you can. Moving on. Right after the match, as Big Stoke and FTR are celebrating in the ring and somewhat gloating as Tony Schiavone comes in and has some fun with the fact that Big Stoke is so hurt and is, dealing with the fallout of Cope's attack from last week. Copeland himself comes out, the rated R superstar. And he says he understands he can't come in there and he can't touch FTR. He can't get involved. But he decided to get into business with somebody who would do it for him. And their business is hurting people. That's right. The tag team champions, the Hurt Syndicate, come out and just demolish FTR, opening the door for Cope to hit another spear onto Stokely Hathaway. Excellent work here. It works on so many levels. Of course, the Hurt Syndicate are going to take a job hurting people. It's a business arrangement. Perfect. 2, they're the tag team champions, so of course they're going to want to attack their potential challengers. And Cope is just so cunning. The Ultimate Opportunist was a nickname somewhere else. So, love this, love this, love this. This was a great way of keeping things going. And very smartly, they transition into the next promo, which is with the former Patriarchy. I think they're the Matriarchy now. They might have debuted a new name here, too. But it very standard promo, highlighting that Nick Wayne is sort of the leader of this, new trio. Him, his mother, and Kip Sabian. And they may have called themselves Uncaged. They describe themselves as Uncaged. We'll see if that's going to be their new name. But you go from Cope to a Christian story back to back. Very well done. Very well handled. It's saying, what do you mean you're not my favorite? You're like third on my list. I'll take it. I had myself at 7th. I think there's only 6 of us. But thank you, Very appreciative. We're going to go right past that Jon Moxley promo, and then we get in the ring with Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay still dealing with the injury or the attack from the Death Riders at All In. We haven't seen him since, but here we are finally. Finally, Will Ospreay makes his return a whole whopping week later. And if you think that was long, Will tells us that unfortunately he's been dealing with a neck injury for quite some time. He says for the last 10 months or so, he's been dealing with a neck injury that he hasn't told AEW about, but now he's going to need to take some time away simply because he needs to recover. But he explains not to worry. It's not going to be too long a wait, as he will be cleared and he will be back for Forbidden Door in London. So we're only going to be 4 weeks without the Aerial Assassin. I'm okay with it. Quite frankly, the guy has just been killing it. He has been over-delivering for so long. Let him take a couple weeks off, make a big return to a monster pop in London. Don't know who he's going to wrestle, but it will be a fun matchup. I'm sure of it. Very, very sure of it. And, he talks about how he stayed as long as he did because he made promises. He made promises to Swerve. He made promises to Hangman. And as he's leaving, he embraces Swerve on the stage, and then that's that. See you soon, Will. Rest up. Whether you're hurt or not, you've earned the rest. You've earned the break. See you soon. We then get a hype package, a vignette highlighting this new women's trio in AEW, as Tekla seems to have officially joined up with Julia Hart and Sky Blue. This is a very creepy group. It's a very hot group. I don't know how anybody's going to deal with it. It's very conflicting for me, but I'm here for it. It's interesting because I think Tekla is further along. Like, I think she's a more seasoned star than Julia and Sky, but she definitely fits in with the vibe, and maybe they're going to learn from her. But considering there's no women's trios division, maybe it's a tag team and the singles. Maybe it should. I don't know. But I'm excited to see what these three women are going to come up with. And I think Tekla is really going to benefit from, despite being the more seasoned star, the exposure that Sky Blue and Julia Hart are going to give her on AEW television. So very cool to see. Going to the comments. Maria saying she's going to miss Will. We all are, but a month is not that bad. A month is not that bad. I think we can make it. That said, I am still mourning the fact that Kenny's been gone for 2 weeks. So I take it back. I feel your pain, Maria. BX saying, pretty sure is reported that Ospreay just needs the time off because he's been going so hard the past few months. I think that's what it is too. He doesn't live in the United States from what I know. I think he still lives in the UK. Like, he has residence in the UK. He probably just wants to be around his family. He probably just needs a little bit of a break. More than earned, in my opinion. BX saying he loves the Spooky Girls Club. I do too. Bonk. Maria saying that she got scared. She thought he was going to retire. There's too much of that going around right now in this Adam Cole world. Still wishing for the best for Cole, but I understand the fear, Maria. BX saying, yeah, Will lives in the UK and commutes to America, which is wild. I agree. I couldn't do it. On a weekly basis, the way he does, it's insane. I'm sure he's probably not doing it every week, but he's doing it most of the time. That's insane. BX saying he has a hard enough time commuting to his couch. Right now, especially from that quicksand, pal. You know it, asking, where's Abyss? In WWE 2K25. DLC just released. Go check it out. Not even plugged. Not even sponsored. You're welcome, WWE. Moving on from that backstage segment, we then go to the Hurt Syndicate, the entire Hurt Syndicate. It's MVP, it's Shelton, it's Bobby, and they are joined by MJF. As they're being interviewed, MJF asks, what the hell was that? Why were they out there buddying up with Copeland? He had just spent weeks trying to do, he had spent so much time trying to get in with them, and they're just buddy with him. And where were they when he was nose to nose with Hangman earlier in the night? As he's bitching, as he's moaning, Bobby has enough. He grabs MJF, pushes him, and holds him against the locker and reminds him that they are not his cronies. They don't answer to him, and they don't need to do anything for him. And as it stands right now, he's voting that MJF should be out of the Hurt Syndicate. Shelton just sort of sheepishly walks away, and MVP looks at MJF just with disappointment. I'll be honest, I feel like this came out of nowhere a little bit. When you have a team that's just absolutely winning the way they're winning, to just have dissent out of nowhere feels a little forced. Maybe that's the point. Maybe it's meant to throw us off red herring wise, and they are going to help him cash in that TNA. Cash in that contract to win the title off of Hangman. Maybe, but too early to tell. Otherwise, just not thrilled that they're teasing a possible split already, or just possible trouble already. He just got in. He just got in good with everyone. Growing pains is fine, but Bobby saying he wants him gone already feels a little too much to me. We'll see. Willing to let it play out, but overall, a little frustrating. Going to the comments real quick. BX saying no free ads. What can I say? When you're talking about it, you're talking about it. Maria saying that didn't take long. I agree. Too soon. Way too soon. BX saying he thinks MJF turns it around, but he's got to prove himself again. Sure, but why? Why are we here again so soon? I don't know. You know, it's saying, great, just sell out to WWE, who doesn't allow streaming from employees and Steam. Look, I can acknowledge that a product exists. I haven't played it. I refuse to play it. 2K19 was the last WWE game that I've owned and played. I hate what they've done with the new game, with the new mechanics. The new controls suck. I should not have to grapple somebody to throw them, to Irish whip them, or to hit a move. I should just be able to hit the goddamn move. I'm sorry. This is a James thing. This isn't a pod thing. It's not. If anything, I'm happy to hype up Abyss. He deserves it. Chris Park is amazing. MJF saying, MJF is getting his own crew. We've been here already. When he was part of the Inner Circle, he turned that into his own crew with the Pinnacle. So I'm not saying it's a bad idea. It's just we've already seen it. So I don't know. Maria saying Bobby wants that world championship. See, that would make sense to me. Bobby getting jealous or feeling slighted by an already world champion MJF makes total sense to me. Doing it before that, just not crazy about it. Not crazy about it. BX saying WWE 13 all day. I played it. I enjoyed it. That was way more that was very arcadey. That was very arcadey, but it worked. It was a better arcade system than the current 2K25. So I agree. I just prefer simulation style, which is why I think 2K19 is one of the best WWE games, one of the best wrestling games that's ever come out. But anyway, I digress. Moving on, we get to timeless Toni Storm taking on Billie Starkz in an AEW Women's World Championship Eliminator match. The champion, Toni Storm, was already booked to have this match with Billie, but then on Collision, I believe it was Collision. It might have been last week on Dynamite. I don't really remember. Added the stipulation that if Billie won, she would get a world title match. And clearly she did this to get under the skin of Athena at the thought of her minion getting a title shot before her. Fun matchup. As somebody who's been watching Billie for a long time now, and long because of how young she is, like it's hard to say long, but for a while now, it's cool to see her progressing so well, looking so much more confident in the ring, looking so much more like a star in the ring. Maybe some of that is because of the AEW glow, not just being neglected to Ring of Honor anymore. But I think more than anything, it's very clear she has developed so well under the tutelage of Athena and developed so well in Ring of Honor. Fun matchup between the two women. Ultimately, of course, it was Toni Storm who got the win, but that's not where it ended. After the match, while celebrating and sort of, I don't want to say taunting, but staring down Athena, she is attacked by Billie Starkz, who used the championship belt to get the advantage and to just take out Toni. She then brings out Athena, calls her over, telling her she should cash in the contract. Athena just continuously beats Toni with the contract over and over and over. She goes, she throws out, I don't know if it was Billie or if it was Athena, but one of them throws out Aubrey very smoothly, I should say, out of the ring. As she's getting ready to cash in, Alex Windsor comes out to make the save. Alex Windsor, who is going to be challenging Athena for the ROH title very soon. I think it might be this week on Collision or this week on Ring of Honor. I'm not entirely sure. But she makes the save, driving Athena and Billie Starkz away. Very interesting to see what these rules are for this contract. It's very clear this is a money in the bank type situation. This is I could cash in this contract at any moment situation. There was some confusion coming out of All In. I know I had multiple conversations with different people who weren't sure, who were all saying something different. You can either cash in ahead of time or you can cash in the moment. Very exciting to see which way that's going to go. MJF has already said he does not want to cash in on Hangman. He wants to beat him in a match. Granted, he's a heel and he lies, and maybe he does mean it, but I don't know if he's going to stick with that. But at least with the women, I think it's going to lead to an actual match between Athena and Timeless Toni Storm. Going back to the comments, it's saying, funny, he played more WWE than watched WWE. I get it. I have an disgusting amount of hours logged into my WWE games. Too many hours. An unhealthy amount of hours. Somebody send help. BX saying he had a feeling this was going to be sneaky good, and it was. I agree. It was a low-key match. It was fun, and it was a great match. It was a great time and a great showing from all 4 women, really. Billie threw out Aubrey as Athena was heading down, then threw her back in when Athena was trying to cash in. Gotcha. Thank you. It was smooth. Windsor challenges on Collision this Saturday. I thought so. I think that was the first thing I said, but thank you for clarifying. I appreciate it. You see, man, I miss you. Saying beating someone with a contract wouldn't be considered a contract bonus. Yeah. Depends on what end of it you're on. If you're on the beating end or the beaten down end, it's going to be a different feeling. BX saying Toni was very wishy-washy about the cash-in rules after All In, so no one really knew. Yeah, I'm glad that they just showed us and didn't tell us. It added to the suspense. Maria saying Athena is getting the AEW championship after losing the ROH championship. It's very possible. It's very, very possible. It would also kind of be funny to see the women switch the titles. I don't think Windsor is necessarily taking the ROH title off of Athena. So maybe Athena takes the AEW world title off of Toni, and Toni gets a rematch and somehow ends up with the ROH title. It'd be a great way to get eyes onto Ring of Honor, which I know they'll never do or care enough about. But it would be a fun thought exercise to see how that could be booked. Moving on, we had another more fun action, more long action. This match, I think, had at least 2 commercial breaks between Swerve Strickland and Hechicero. Hechicero has proven to be such a fun addition to the AEW roster. I know he's not, I don't think he's officially signed to AEW. I think he's still with CMLL. He fits in so well with the Don Callis family. He fits in so well with the roster. He just has good matches with everybody he wrestles. And this was another example of it. Fun back and forth between Swerve and Hechicero. Just excellent use of time. BX saying 2 contract Hechicero. He wouldn't be the first, so I'm here for it. Asking, who has the Ring of Honor subscription? Not me. I think I might still have it. I'll be honest, I have fallen off on it. I really want to get back into ROH, but there's just not enough there to justify it. But we'll see. I'm hoping they can grab me soon. Clicked on the wrong thing, so sorry. But yeah, this was a fun matchup between the two, ultimately ending with a DQ after the Murder Hawk monster Lance Archer gets involved and attacks Swerve. This leads to a few members of the Don Callis family. I saw Josh Alexander. I think that might have been it for, yeah, I think that was it for then and there. Coming out to do the attack. Swerve getting the save from Brody King and Bandito. Now, let me just say, Lance Archer is a huge man. We've all known this since day one of AEW. Brody King, wow, he humbled him real quick. So I thought that was really cool to see. That was a meaty back and forth between those two guys. And Bandito and Hechicero have been going at it for a while now, probably leading to what will be a Ring of Honor World Championship match between the two at some point. So pretty cool to see. Eventually, Okada comes in. He hits Swerve with a chair. Swerve is able to get the upper hand, wraps the chair around Okada's head. Looks like he's going to go for a swerve, not a swerve stomp, but a, Jesus, what's that kick that he hits? Rev, help me out here. BX, help me out here. that kick that he hits. It's not a swerve stomp. It's like a drive-by kick. Anyway, he's about to hit it onto Okada, but Okada runs out of the ring and is flanked by Don Callis and the rest of the family protecting him. House call. Thank you, BX. And just to finish up on an old thought, BX saying that they recently announced Hechicero had signed an AEW contract, much like Takeshita has multiple contracts with multiple companies. Toni doesn't want to poach him from the CMLL. Love it. Love it. This is the way you do it. This is the way you do business with partners. Love it. So we're building full steam ahead towards Okada versus Swerve. It's going to be a banger of the highest proportion. Cannot wait for it. Cannot wait to see if Swerve is able to surprise us and get the win. My doubts are there just because you never bet against Okada. But if there's anyone that could do it, it's Swerve. Moving on, we had a backstage interview with Ricochet and the gates of the GOA. It's reading very AOP to me. I'm not loving it. I get it. I get why they would change the name now that they're teaming with Ricochet, but it was just such a badass name. I don't know. Ricochet talks about how after having won the money on Collision in that, I think it was a 4-way tag team match, or 4-way trios match, maybe. They're going to use that money, that $200,000, to invest in themselves in their pursuit of gold. Doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter what they're carrying. This new group, Ricochet and the GOA, are going after gold, and they plan on winning it. Wouldn't be opposed to them winning the trios titles. Don't get me wrong, I love the Ops. BX, calm down. I love the Ops, but they've defended the trios titles once since they won them. Maybe this is the team that will take it off of them. Wouldn't be opposed. Ricochet getting gold in AEW, win. GOA finally winning AEW gold after being good workers for them for a while, W. Let's see. We then go to MJF in ring. I don't know if he's bitching. I don't know if he's moaning, but he's got a message. He goes on to say he doesn't need the Hurt Syndicate to win the world championship. He doesn't need Bob to win the world championship. He knows who he is. He knows how good he is, and he knows he could take the title off of Hangman or whoever. He is then interrupted by Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe comes in hot. This feud, this rivalry has not settled. It has not gone away. But before he could really get too far into it, MJF kind of cuts him off. He kind of makes fun of Mark's promo style a little bit and says, Mark, you're a joke. You're a clown. You're who AEW brings out for the cheap pop. Nobody actually thinks he's a world championship caliber star. Nobody thinks he's on the level of everybody else. And nobody, even his biggest fans, don't think he's on MJF's level. He said there is somebody from Delaware who was on his level. We all know who he means. He mentions his brother and how it's such a shame that he has to deal with Mark as opposed to somebody who was actually worth his time, Jay. This had Mark storming the ring, running to go to whoop some ass with MJF, but MJF hightailed it, running like the cowardly dog that he is, not the courage kind that we all love, but running up the ramp. This leading to the match that eventually came between Mark and Claudio. Guys, that was Dynamite. I did this under an hour. It's hard. But thankfully, on a show like this, where there wasn't that much that happened, but just everything that happened had so much time to develop, you can get through these shows pretty quickly. Let's go to the comments real quick. BX saying Joe has been MIA as well. That's because he's taking time off to promote Twisted Metal, which is coming back for season 2, I believe, on Peacock. So when you got press to do, you can't be there every week on TV. It sucks, but more reason that maybe they should just drop the titles. Anyway, where's Hook, by the way? What the hell's going on there? BX saying MJF pissing off Mark Briscoe while still having the utmost respect for Jay is such a clever way of writing this feud. I agree, but there's also that confusion, that mystery. Does he actually have that respect for Jay, or is this just another way of taunting Mark? Either way, brilliant. Well played. You know it, saying who's from Delaware? The Briscoes, the Briscoe brothers. In this case, unfortunately, just Mark still. But yeah, the Briscoes are from Delaware. Yep, thank you, BX. Maria saying, nice job. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I was only able to do it with you guys in the comments, with BX helping me out tonight. It was a good show. It was a fun show. Maria saying Hook is going to turn on the Ops. I think so too. But man, they just like tease it, did nothing with him. He's been gone again for months, I think, at this point. It's weird, right? It's weird. I don't know. Anyway, guys, this was AEW. This was Dynamite. Thank you so much for joining me this week on here at the Mark It Down podcast. We always love you. We always appreciate you. Next time you're going to see us is tomorrow. I will be going live for Impact, for TNA. I have a lot to say coming out of Slammiversary this last weekend. A fun show, but a dire show if you're a TNA fan, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think I'm wrong, but we'll talk. Tell me what you think, if I'm crazy or not. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Other than that, we have SummerSlam next weekend. Very much looking forward to talking about SummerSlam with you guys. And you guys know the deal. If you're new here and you're just checking us out for the first time, thank you so much. Don't know what brought you here, but we hope you stick around. Hit that follow button, subscribe, give this video a like. That way we know we're doing something right. If you're one of our regulars like Maria, you know it, or anybody else, thank you for sticking around. We love you. We appreciate you. And this community just keeps getting bigger and better. So thank you guys so much. Otherwise, check us out on social media. We're not just cool here. We're dorks there too. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on Blue Sky. We're on TikTok. I think I said them all. I think that's all of the social medias that there are. But guys, thank you so much for being here. I guess we got a couple more comments. Let's see. BX saying, happy to help since Rev is recovering from his quicksand incident. Everybody, prayers up for Rev, but BX, you're awesome. Gym Pack Zone is coming back, baby, for better or for worse. Maria saying, RIP Ozzy Osbourne. I'm with you there. That guy really held on, had a great last show. You know it. Thank you so much, pal. MySpace, I'm trying to get us to do it. I am trying to get us onto MySpace, even if it's just for the joke. But anyway, guys, I'm James Gisanti. This is the Mark It Down podcast. We rock. We're Marks. You're Marks. We're all Marks together. What are you? I don't know. What am I up to? I don't know. I'm going to go to bed soon, probably. Tired. I'm cat sitting. So on top of my 5 cats, I got 2 more cats to go after. I'm really tired, guys. Everybody, have a great night. Love you all. Where's Kenny? See ya.